Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Ellen Barrett, and thanks for joining us today. We have a great show for you today, and we are starting off with our news partner, Phil Anderson for U.S. Senate. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me here, Ellen.
And we're going to talk about kind of a tough and heavy topic this morning. We're talking about hate in politics, and I think it is just a really relevant topic, I guess, right now. And with that being said, what's the most striking difference you've noticed in this election cycle relative to previous elections?
Well, in my observation and following politics, politicians almost always tell some untruths.
Sure.
and use negative characterizations of their opponents. But this time it's just been absolutely brutal, both in the presidential and the Senate race. And I think it's sort of gone over the top to where not only the candidates and the campaigns, but actually people are falling into this atmosphere and this attitude of not being afraid to be hateful or not being afraid to tell untruths that they know aren't true about their opponents and their opponents' followers. It's really amazing and pretty sad.
Mm-hmm. Now, who do you think, I guess, is responsible for this?
Well, I would say that it's the two parties and the media together.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, the media and the Democrat and Republican parties cooperate to a certain extent. There's access traded, there's information given under the table, there's spinning that goes on, and because negativity tends to play really well in the media, then it's not a problem for the big media outlets to sort of go along with what the politicians are saying. And of course, the politicians are trying to exploit the worst in human nature to get elected, and that is by practicing hate and fear and trying to get people afraid of somebody getting into office. So vote for me or you'll get that person. It's a very negative thing, but the media and the politicians of the big two parties work together on that.
So kind of going off of that, why do you think that negative campaigning is so effective?
Well, as I said, it plays on hate.
Yeah.
And when there's only two choices, if people perceive that there's only two choices, of course, that's not the case in the Senate election nor in the presidential election, but the media has sort of framed it that way as Clinton versus Trump, Feingold versus Johnson. And when one person can campaign negatively against only one other opponent, then they're really either just softening that person's support or they're bringing votes into themselves. Once you introduce a third candidate or a fourth candidate or any other choices into the election, then negative campaigning isn't as effective because you could possibly be driving votes from one opponent to another opponent as opposed to them coming back to you.
Okay.
So once you introduce a third or fourth candidate, things should become much more positive just from a logical standpoint.
So I know you mentioned the Senate race, so I guess how has this affected your campaign?
Well, of course, the media is complicit with the framing of the debate being between Johnson and Feingold as well. The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association only invited those two to their debate. WI57 in Milwaukee is having a debate tonight, as a matter of fact, that they're only invited to. So they're part of the problem. But you see from the ads that they run, and then from PolitiFact Wisconsin evaluating their claims, that they're telling as many lies about each other as Trump and Clinton are telling about each other. And it's clearly demonstrable. You just look at the things that they say, and it's hateful, negative, deceitful, playing to the worst in human nature. And that's not what I stand for. That's not how I'm campaigning, and I don't think that's good for our public discourse or for people's view of candidates or politics in general or government.
So how are you campaigning differently?
Well, I have been pointing out the flaws in my opponents, their positions, the differences between what they say and what they do, but it's all based 100% in fact. There's nothing that I have said nor will say in the course of this campaign that if PolitiFact were to evaluate it would be seen as untrue at all, not even a half-truth. They're all completely true. Because I believe that people want to hear positive messages. They really want to know what people are going to do if elected, not just negative things about who they might vote for. They want to know what I'm going to do if elected. And I have a strong belief in human nature and the power of people to solve problems and local government to solve problems. So that's what I'm accentuating during my campaign.
Now, we've only got about 15 seconds left, but I guess if elected, how will you make political discourse more civil?
It'll be a big deal because there'll be a third party in the Senate, and they won't be able to do all this negative stuff. I'll be there to call it as I see it and to provide solid information to the public.
Our news partner, Phil Anderson for U.S. Senate, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much, Ellen.
And we'll be back with more Talk of the Town. Stay tuned to Wisconsin's 57. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, and with me now I've got our news partner WILD, and that's the Wisconsin Institute for Learning Disabilities and Dyslexia. And with me today I have Irvin and Shelley. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank
Hi.
you.
We appreciate it, and we're talking about a cool event that's coming up, and you guys are partnering, it sounds like, with the Madison Capitals. So I'm excited to learn more about that. We've had them on the show as well. There's some awesome people over there, great organization as well, and sounds like you guys are going to be doing some pretty cool stuff together.
Well, it's going to be fun, I think.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
looking forward to it, yeah.
Absolutely. So why are you guys having this event, and I guess give us the details as well.
Sure, absolutely. Well, October is National Dyslexia Awareness Month, and
Wow.
so we really wanted to get out in the community and do something fun. And luckily for us, the Madison Capitals organization gave us a call, and they
Sure.
said, you know, we would love for you to be our featured nonprofit at this Saturday's game. So we're going to be the featured nonprofit this Saturday for the 7 p.m. game. It's going to be at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum.
Awesome.
And so they feature us as a nonprofit. We're going to have a booth there. We get to have a raffle there. It's also going to be their family night, which is really great.
Cool.
So everything on their concession stand menu is about $2. So
Oh,
it's a
awesome.
great deal. It's going to be a great time, and we're really excited to be there.
A great time, it sounds like, to bring out the whole family if maybe you've got a bigger family, and then also give back to a great cause.
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Yes.
So how does the ticket and the raffle sales work?
Yeah, so that's probably the best part of the event itself,
Sure.
is that for every ticket that we personally sell, $5 goes back to Wild directly
Oh,
to
wow.
help families and individuals who are struggling with learning disabilities and dyslexia. So that's really great. And so we're actually selling tickets on the Wild website.
Sure.
So you can order tickets there through wild.org/get-involved/hockey. You can also order tickets by phone at 608-663-6088. And so it's great. And so the ticket sales are really going to go a long way to helping our mission and helping Wild. And then the raffle is actually going to be a 50-50 raffle. And we sell tickets the night of the event for $5. And then 50% of the raffle money funds that we are able to get go back to Wild.
Oh, cool.
And then one lucky winner is actually going to win the other half of the money, and that gets announced before the third period of the game.
How fun. A lot of
Yeah.
different things to take advantage of, it sounds like.
Oh,
It
for
sounds like.
sure.
Now, at the game, if people come out, how are people going to be able to recognize, I guess, the Wild representatives who might be there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're all going to be wearing red T-shirts that have the Wild logo on them.
Perfect.
So we'll have a booth right when you walk in the door. We'll also have a booth by the concession stand, and then everyone's going to be walking around selling raffle tickets. So if anyone has any questions, they can definitely approach everyone and we can help them out.
Perfect. So
Exactly.
with the raffle tickets, can you get those at the booth? And I know you mentioned people will be walking around too.
Yeah.
So just look for those red
Yeah.
shirts.
But what's really great is you don't have to be at the game to win.
What?
So yeah,
That never
exactly.
happens.
I know.
That's
So-
always the catch.
So you can, yeah, you don't have to be at the game to win. If you can't make it to this Saturday's game, but you'd like to buy a raffle ticket, we're also selling raffle tickets at used and new office furniture, which is just off the Beltline in Madison.
Sure.
And then we're selling raffle tickets at Wrench Auto Service in Middleton. So you can get your raffle tickets there. They're $5 each, and then we'll call you if you're the lucky winner.
Awesome.
And we also are selling them at our office too, so they can stop
Perfect.
in on Grand Canyon Drive and pick them up as well.
So a lot of different places. And maybe you could win big.
Yeah.
So how about if people maybe want to learn more about the organization, or they know someone, or maybe they personally have a learning disability or dyslexia? Is there going to be more information available?
Yes. Well, luckily we have the all-time expert on the subject that's going to be at the game.
Yes.
So
He
Irv,
really is.
yep, I know he is. So Irv and his wife Kim are going to be at the booth through the first period for sure. We'll always have representatives at the booth. In addition, we're going to have flyers and brochures. They're actually going to be playing some videos during the game and giving information during the game over the loudspeaker
Oh,
as well.
cool.
So yeah, the Madison Capitals have just been like super great in terms of supporting us and just really increasing awareness out there on Wild and what we do.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
yeah, we're really excited.
It sounds like an event you're not going to want to miss. Again, Irvin and Shelley with Wild.
Yep.
Thank you both for being with us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
And we'll be back with more Talk of the Town right after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, and with me now I have Melissa Versnick, and you are with the payroll company. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
And we're going to be kind of talking about your industry and some things going on there, which I'm excited to learn more about. A little bit of my college background is in human relations, human resources, and all of that sort of stuff, so I'm intrigued to learn more. And so for viewers who are unfamiliar with your business, give us a really quick summary of what you guys do.
Yeah, so most people, you get a paycheck from your job, but most people don't really realize how they get that paycheck. So
where does it come from?
Yeah,
it disappears, right?
Yes, you pay taxes, it goes somewhere.
Yeah.
So as by our name, the payroll company, we started out doing payroll services. So our customers use us to do the behind the scenes. They use the technology. We do the direct deposit, make their tax payments for them, file the reporting with the government agencies. And then as things have evolved over the years, we also do a lot more than that. So we also do HR consulting for a lot of our clients.
Cool.
So for some of the growing ones, they use us as their HR department. We do staffing. We're a 401k record keeper. So really, as the industry's evolved, we've added a lot of services that customers have asked for.
That's really nice, because maybe for a smaller to mid-sized business, maybe they don't have that already on their team, and it wouldn't make sense maybe financially for them to do that.
Yep.
So it's better to let an expert, an outside expert come in and let them handle it. And then that's one less thing as a business owner you have to worry about.
Yeah,
so
a lot of
awesome.
our customers with the HR services, they're growing, and usually it's the business owner, or it kind of falls to the accountant, and they are hiring employees. There's all these compliance things going on. They don't really know what to do, but they don't need a full-time HR person, so that's where we come in.
So when did the payroll company get its start?
In 1999.
Okay,
Yep, so our owner, Eric, is a CPA by trade, always wanted to own his own business, so decided to start the payroll company.
So you've got a good, 16, 17 years?
Yeah, going on.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, good for you guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so what would you say are the biggest changes happening right now in the industry?
Yeah, so a lot of it in the last year or two has revolved around government compliance.
Sure.
So, the Affordable Care Act last year was the first year of reporting for customers. And then this year, coming up on December 1st, the new Fair Labor Standard Act, the overtime rules that are changing. So our HR team is working with a lot of the customers in, do you have people that don't meet those new requirements? What changes are we going to make? How are we going to communicate that to people? And really helping those people that, don't have that internal staff to be able to do that, figure out what they need to do to make sure that they're up to date.
I just can't even imagine, with all the changes, and rules and regulations that occur, trying to manage that on your own.
Lot, yeah.
Wow.
The government likes to change it daily, it seems. So
Right.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have people who are on top of it, That's awesome.
Yep.
And so what type of customers do you guys typically work with?
Yeah, so usually we say, like you said, small to mid-size, but that has a different definition for everyone.
Right.
So a lot of our customers, we work with startups all the way up to 1,000 employee companies.
Oh, wow.
I think the people that really find the best value are those that have a small to medium-sized HR accounting department. We are a locally owned company, so they appreciate that they can call someone here in town, get answers that they need, and they're not calling a call center somewhere else. But otherwise, from an industry standpoint, we work with banks, manufacturing, kind of all across the board.
That's so nice that you guys are local and there's a real face behind the name. So if you give her a call, it's a real person. That's such a nice, component that sometimes I think gets overlooked, but that can go a long way.
It's really what's helped us grow over the years, is I think people really appreciate that. Even if they call our toll-free number, it's someone here locally that's answering the phone that they can get help with.
Right. You can talk about the weather, and you're talking about the same
place.
place.
About Badgers, how disappointing it was, or whatever. And people get it.
Yeah, for sure. That is an important part. And so how did you get your start at the payroll company?
Yeah, so my background's in HR. I actually used to work for one of our customers right up the street from your studio, American Printing. Yeah, right across the street. I was the HR manager there for about 4 years, and I had switched them from using a large national provider to the payroll company.
Oh, cool.
And then about a year later, I came to work for my vendor. So,
wow. Yeah. So they were like, we like her.
Yeah, and I liked the company. I knew what I was getting into. So that was about 8.5 years ago now.
Wow. What would you say is the favorite part of your job now?
I really think the variety. I get to work with so many different customers in so many different industries.
Sure.
And it's really cool to be able to, have a conversation with one company and be like, I've got another customer that does this. Have you ever thought about that? So it's really fun.
That personal touch is so important.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, with the payroll company, again, this is Melissa Versnick. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Ellen.
We appreciate it, and we'll be back with more Talk of the Town right after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, and with us now is our news partner moving forward. This is Marianne, a familiar face at this point. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it, and we're talking about helping your parents or maybe your grandparents downsize today, and it's something you guys, specialize in and help with that process. And so for those who may have not seen you on our show before, what is a senior move manager and what do they do?
Sure. So basically a senior move manager is part of the National Association of Senior Move Managers.
Sure.
And so basically there's about 1,000 of us around the country, and our focus is to help families in transition to make the move and to help to get their house ready to go on the market as smooth as possible.
It seems like it's like the elite, of people that could help you to be considered in that group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So you're really getting great service and, somebody you can count on and somebody you can trust. And I know from, chatting with you before, you guys are helping the senior and transition. But do you think you're also kind of helping the children or, the grandchildren and you're assisting them as well?
Yes, very much so. And even, this past week, we really, we just had so many situations in the past, honestly. Last week I had emails come in and thank you calls because from the kids of the seniors, because again, it's such a stressful time for the kids to be able to help their parents the way that they want to, but it's just really tough due to their own schedules.
Absolutely. And so how do you specifically, assist the children through the process?
Sure. So what we do is we talk through the whole process with them and let them know kind of all the work that's kind of laid out in front of them.
Yeah.
And they just tell us what the items that they want to handle and the things that they really need help with. Like maybe they'll do the sorting process with their parents, but maybe they'll have us do the packing and the selling of items. So we really just do a partnership with the kids so that they have the choice to do whatever they can handle, but knowing that we're the backup plan to do whatever, that we need to have done before the move. So we work together with them.
That's so nice, because even if you are maybe a child of an aging parent and they need to move out, maybe you even do have the time, that can just be causing, friction, because it is such a difficult time for both people involved. So to have that third party who's not only there to help, but give that expertise and advice when you need it, I think is just so important to that whole transitional process.
Exactly.
And now let's talk about floor layouts as well when you're helping people move.
Sure. So one thing that's always interesting is when we're having our discussion and the parents kind of want to bring certain pieces of furniture. What we do is we just do the measuring for them, and we have this special blue painter's tape that we use, and we kind of tape off where the furniture will be placed in the new apartment so that our clients can kind of get a visual, and that way they'll decide at that point if it looks a little too cluttered, if they need to let go of some furniture that they were going to bring. So by adding that floor plan as a step in the process, it really makes the move easier so that, again, you could prevent problems before they occur.
That's smart. That's smart thinking and pre-planning there. And now, what would you say surprises folks the most about your business and what you guys do?
Yeah, so it's really, I think the biggest surprise that I bring to people when we're discussing the move is all the areas that we help with. So not only are we're there in the beginning and we have our social work hat on and we're really talking through the items that they want to bring with them, but then as the move kind of comes to an end, the client is all moved into their new apartment and we go back to the house. Families are really surprised that we really, we bring in a handyman and a painter and we pull carpet if we need to. We rent a dumpster if we need to. We bring tons of stuff to donation. So there's just this large array of services that we bring to the family to make the whole move smooth for them.
Wow, so it's kind of a one-call, you guys can provide everything.
It really is, yeah.
Wow, that's such a relief, when you are going through that. One less thing on your list.
Exactly,
For sure. Now, Marianne, I love your tips
Yes.
because not only do I think your organization is great, but so many of your tips apply to anybody moving or maybe just trying to downsize and you've got your stuff. So what's your tip this month?
So I brought a little prop in. So basically, closets are an issue for lots of people.
Sure.
And so I brought with today just a line here of black shirts. So sometimes when we're looking at people's closets, there's lots of clothes that they're not using.
Yeah.
So one little trick that we have is at the beginning of a season is a really good time to do it. Flip all your hangers so they're kind of opposite of the way we're used to seeing them. And then at the end of the season, and then when you go to take a shirt off, if then you flip it the other way once you're done. And then the clothes that haven't been flipped, then those are the ones at the end of the season you could kind of have a discussion with yourself and say, well, I haven't used them in 5 months. Maybe it's time to let them go. And although I love black shirts, maybe I don't need a million of them in my closet. So it just helps to kind of do a reality check a little bit with our closets.
Absolutely, a fantastic tip. I'm going to try that one for sure. Again, this is our new partner moving forward, and this is Marianne Garidi. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to all of our guests, and thank you for watching Talk of the Town today. You can find us next time only on Wisconsin's 57.